What's up, my friend? I hope you're having an amazing day. I am having such an awesome day. I can't believe I just spent about 10 minutes, and I'm actually even ashamed of saying this. I spent about 10 minutes looking for the shit emoji that I put in the caption, in the description of this video. And I don't know if I should be embarrassed of that, but literally, I just spent 10 minutes looking for that emoji, and I'm like, wow, talk about commitment. Hey, anyways, to talk about what I want to share with you today, it is quite interesting. As I was thinking about this, are you constantly feeding yourself shit, for lack of a better word or term? But are you constantly feeding yourself shit? Think of it this way. We are all conscious of the food that we get to put into our body. Well, at least most of us are. We are conscious of the food that we constantly get to chew on to feed our body, to nourish our body. And we don't always almost end there. Most of us, or some of us, not always, but most times, we also make sure that we exercise the body itself. So one, we constantly feed it healthy foods, and two, we constantly exercise the body. So why am I bringing this analogy with what I actually want to share? Well, listen to this. Are you constantly feeding yourself shit? For lack of a better word or term, but the food for thought that we get to feed our mind, how is it impacting you? Just like the food that we get to chew on for our body, the food that we get to feed our mind is equally important, if not more important. Are you constantly feeding yourself negativity? Are you constantly feeding yourself criticism? Are you constantly feeding yourself with gossip? If you think about it, would you sit down and have a meal for your body, a rotten meal? So a question for you then could be, why are you feeding yourself rotten thoughts? When I was thinking about this, it really dawned on me. In as much as we get to pay attention to our body, in as much as we get to pay attention to the things that we get to constantly eat for our physical energy, but are we paying attention to the foods that we get to feed our minds? The food that we get to put into our minds is what determines how we constantly get to feel about ourselves. Are we going to be happy? Are we going to be negative? Or are we just going to be jaded and feel like we are stuck in a rut? So this is a thought that I wanted to share with you, because as I was thinking about it, there is no way that I could constantly sit around and just wait on constantly consuming negativity, sit around and constantly surround myself in negative environments. It's like, could you intentionally harm your own body? Or do you actually make sure that your body is always comfortable? Even clothes, you wear comfortable clothes. You always sleep in a comfortable bed, at least if you have one. You always sleep in a comfortable bed. But where as well are you resting your mind? Are you putting your thoughts on things that could actually push you forward? Or are you constantly putting your thoughts in things that will constantly drain you? I really wanted to be able to share this with you, and I sure hope it does make sense, because if you truly want to be able to have a happy and joyful life, to use that term, you have to go with the demands of what that looks like. If you want to be physically healthy, you have to go with the demands of what that looks like. So, to be mentally healthy, to have emotional fitness, you have to go with the demands of what that looks like as well. If that makes sense, do let me know in the comments below, and if you have any questions for me, be sure to drop them. And I'm still thinking at the back of my mind, I can't still believe I just spent about 10 minutes looking for the shit emoji, and that's truly interesting. Really is interesting. And yeah, I thought I should share that quick thought with you. What are you constantly feeding in your mind? Are you feeding it positivity, or are you drowning in negativity? And a best way to actually get to see or know an answer is look at what you are experiencing around you. Are you experiencing excitement, being joyful most of the times, or are you experiencing being drained most of the time? So that will actually also get to give you a clue on what you are currently consuming. And if you want a better life, if you want something different, you can't expect to be doing the same thing over and over and still expect something different.